Have you ever caught yourself translating every English word in your head? I used to do that too, thinking in my native language first, then trying to translate it into English. It works for a while, but it is so slow. By the time you form a sentence, the conversation has already moved on. And I remember at work in New Zealand during lunch breaks, I'd want to make a joke, but by the time I translated it, everyone had already moved on. So frustrating. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Today we'll talk about why this happens, what's going on in your brain when you switch languages, and how to train your brain to think directly in English. Let's start with a bit of science. When we speak or learn a language, our brain uses a few key areas at the same time. When you use your first language, all these areas work together like a smooth, fast highway. Everything flows without effort. But when you learn a second language, your brain has to build new connections, kind of like creating a new road. At first, it's slow and full of traffic. So what happens? You hear something in English, your brain quickly translates it into your native language. You think of a response and then translate it back into English. Totally normal, but it's a long process. That's why you might understand everything someone says, but struggle to answer quickly. It's not because you are bad at English, it's just because your brain is taking the long route. Think of your brain as a huge network of roads. These are your neural pathways. The more you use a certain path, the stronger and faster it becomes. So when you practice English regularly, listening, speaking, thinking in it, your brain starts building strong English roads. Over time, they become so familiar that you no longer need to switch between languages. You just think in English automatically. It's literally like training a muscle. At first, it takes effort and focus, but the more you use it, the easier it becomes. And research actually shows that bilingual brains, people who use two languages often, develop stronger connections for attention, memory, and speech. So by learning English this way, you're not just learning a language, you're training your brain to be sharper and more flexible. Now, why is it such a big deal to think in English? Because once you do, everything becomes easier. You speak faster and more naturally. You understand not just words, but the feeling behind them. Idioms, jokes, little expressions that don't translate directly. And most importantly, you stop second-guessing yourself. When your brain doesn't have to jump between two languages, your speech flows. You stop worrying about being perfect and start focusing on what you want to say. You start to feel the language instead of memorizing it. And that's where real fluency begins. So how do you actually do this? I've created a simple 8-step plan you can follow to train your brain to think directly in English. Just focus on one step each week. No rush. Give your brain time to adjust before you move to the next one. Step 1. Name things around you. Let's start really simple. As you go about your day, look around and name the things you see in English. You can do this silently in your head or say it out loud, whichever feels more natural. For example, a flower, a cup, a window, people walking by. Start doing it from the moment you wake up. Ask yourself, what do I see around me? What am I doing right now? What am I feeling? If you don't know a word, look it up right away. You can use the Collins Online Dictionary. I'll leave the link in the description. This step helps you build direct associations. No translation needed. Step 2. Be your own vlogger. Imagine you're filming a vlog about your daily life. but only in your head. Start describing what you are doing in simple sentences. I'm making breakfast. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm walking past the shop. Also describe what's happening around you. The dog is barking. It's getting cold. It looks like it's going to rain. Basically, turn your inner thoughts into English. It might feel strange at first, but this is how you train your brain to think naturally in English without switching to your native language. Step 3, keep a short daily diary in English. Every day, spend about 10 minutes writing a few sentences about your day. What you did, what you felt, what you achieved. It doesn't need to be long or perfect. Just write freely and look up any words you don't know. You can answer questions like, what did I do today? How did I feel? What went well? What am I planning for tomorrow? Writing helps you slow down your thoughts and process them directly in English. Step 4, stop translating into your native language. Here's an important one. If you read or hear a new word, don't translate it. Instead, find its definition in English or look for an image that represents it. For example, imagine you see this. It is called a flotation tank or a sensory deprivation tank. You might not even know how to say it in your native language, and that's perfect. Now your brain connects the image straight to the English word. No middle step, no translation. You can try 2 little exercises. The first task, write down 5 English words you know but don't know their native equivalents. And task number 2, find an English article that interests you, maybe news or a life hack, and look up 5 to 10 new words. Find their English definitions, images, and examples in sentences. You can even keep a "How do I say this" notebook. A simple place to collect and learn new words naturally. Step 5. Watch and listen without translating. Choose simple shows or YouTube videos made for your level of English and focus on the meaning, gestures, and tone, not subtitles. Try to guess the meaning from context. If you start with content that is too hard, you will just get frustrated. Instead, start with easy material, maybe kids shows, or maybe videos made for English learners. You can even search things like real-life dialogues for pre-intermediate learners. Pick something visual, it helps your brain connect language with real actions. Step 6. Prepare for real conversations. Think of 3 real or possible conversations you might have soon. Maybe with your boss or friend or colleague. Now imagine that situation and write down some phrases you could use. For example, if your boss often interrupts, you can prepare and say, "Hold on, Alex, let me finish." You can do this for any situation, a meeting, a coffee chat, or a phone call. You are training your brain to think ahead of English, so you'll feel ready when the real conversation happens. Step 7. Plan and reflect in English. First, in the morning, when you wake up, plan your day in English, just in your head. For example, after breakfast, I'll get dressed and go out to meet my friend. On the bus, I'll read my book. Then we'll probably grab a takeaway and go to the park. Spend at least 5 minutes doing this every morning. And secondly, at the end of the day, choose one thing you did and make a little story about it, either in your head or in your notebook. For example, maybe you went to a concert or a conference. Describe it from beginning to end. What happened? who you were with, what you enjoyed. This reflection helps you connect English to your real life, not just your lessons. Step 8, immerse yourself. Create small English-only moments in your day. It could be 10 minutes while you are having breakfast, or while texting a friend, or even while driving. The key here is consistency, not the length of time. Even short daily immersion helps your brain switch into English mode faster and more naturally. Now, here's something I really want you to remember. To start thinking in English, you need to change how you see English. It's not a school subject. It's a tool for thinking. You don't need to memorize endless grammar rules to think in English. You need to use it in real life. Listen, speak, write, and interact with things that genuinely interest you. If you love cooking, watch cooking videos in English. If you like gardening, read about plants in English. If you're into sustainability, watch eco-living videos. When you care about the topic, your brain remembers naturally because it connects to emotion and meaning. Fluency isn't a memory test. It's a habit your brain builds through repetition. The more you live in English, the more automatic it becomes. So start small. Label things around you. Think short sentences in English. Talk to yourself. Keep adding more every day, and little by little you'll notice something magical happening. One day you'll realize you just had a thought in English without even trying. That's when you know your brain has switched over. I've experienced that, and you can too. If you'd like me to make a follow-up videos with practical daily exercises to help you start thinking in English step by step, let me know in the comments below. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress and about training your brain to feel comfortable in English. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep thinking in English.